Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Nice to see you all today. We have some great guests, and I'm actually not going to be singing our finals. So I thought I would sing for you one of my favorites by Stephen Sondheim. The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think you. I want you so, it's like I'm losing my mind. The morning ends, I think about you. I talk with friends and think about you. And do they know it's like I'm losing my mind? All afternoon doing every little chore. The thought of you stays bright. Sometimes I stand at the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right. I dim the lights and think about you. Spend sleepless nights to think about you. You said you loved me, but were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind? The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you. You said you loved me, but were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind? Am I losing my mind? Am I losing my mind? Or am I losing my mind? And to answer this and many of your other questions, let's welcome back our host for today, Adam Bailey.
Hello, everybody. I didn't see you coming in there. You see, I was just pouring myself a cocktail, and I have quite the cocktail game, and I just wanted to enjoy one of my own creations this afternoon. But I had to stop because I didn't know how long Kristin's song was going to be. So my game was stopped while I waited not to disrupt Kristin's song. And to finish my cocktail that was game stopped, I just need to add a little short squeeze of lime juice. Yes, just a little short squeeze to my game stopping cocktail there. Just a short squeeze to my GameStop cocktail. And you may have heard of a Harvey Wallbanger, but this is going to be a Harvey Wall Street Destroyer. And I think that this is going to taste delicious, just like billionaire's tears in here. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, so maybe I should have used a fresh lime instead of lime concentrate. And I started, oh my God. Does lime juice kill corona? Can someone check with Fauci or like just tell Q, put it on one of his message boards? Because I think I found the bleach replicant that will help get this out of our system. Okay, I'm putting that over there. Oh my God. Ugh. Speaking about coronavirus, double bagging it has come back into fashion. Now, the last time you might have heard about people double bagging it was during the AIDS crisis, and it wasn't really a good idea back then. But we're not talking about double bagging your junk anymore. No, we're talking about double bagging your face. That's right. It is time to start double masking to protect yourself. Put on a surgical mask when you're going outside or you know you're going to be indoors with other people, but then put on your more fashionable cloth mask on top of that. And not only are you more likely to protect other people from getting the virus from you, you're more likely to stop yourself from contracting the virus now. So double bag it. Ironically, the people who were double bagging it during the AIDS crisis are most likely the people to not even wear a single mask now. Speaking about LGBT news, there's been a variety of coming out stories this week that I'd like to draw your attention to. First off, in the world of hypermasculine country music, TJ Osborne came out of the closet. We also have from the world of wrestling, a WWE wrestler came out as a transgender woman, Gabby Tuff, this week. And the big one was Philosophy Tube creator Abigail Thorne came out as a trans woman this week and made the most YouTube-y thing ever, a 37-minute video about their own coming out. But it's stunning and beautiful and possibly one of the best things to have been created so far this year. I'm recommending it so much that we're putting it into the description below. If you want to actually watch this after the show, I highly recommend it. She threads a lot of needles in this video, and as an ally, I think it's probably really important for you to watch this. Speaking about allyship, this month is Black History Month, and it's 45 years old. That's right, back in 1976, under Gerald Ford, Black History Month came into fruition as a way of celebrating the achievements of Black Americans. Now, today, this might not sound like the biggest deal, the creation of this much needed month, but back in 1976 and earlier, all American history books had to be approved by this baldly racist lobbying group called the Daughters of the Confederacy. You can kind of see what their bias is just in the title. And they were able to strong arm the publishers of history textbooks into needing their stamp of approval to get any of those textbooks into schools, which meant that history was very, very whitewashed and Black History Month was very, very needed. Now, in between 45 years, obviously some cringe has been attached to Black History Month as Black people have to watch their white friends virtue signal and, make postings on Facebook that kind of look like you're asking Netflix to make your next biopic about some overlooked figure from Black history. But if you can't beat them, join them. I'm a white person. I'm going to make my Netflix pitch right now. Hey, Netflix, if you're listening to me, I would love to see a biopic about Afeni Shakur. Now, I first learned about this marvelous woman listening to a podcast on the history of gay pride. It turns out that Afeni Shakur, while not being LGBT, was incarcerated in the Women's Correctional Facility across the street from the Stonewall Inn the night of the infamous Stonewall riots, which are credited for kicking off gay pride. And Afeni Shakur watched and took part as those riots happened, not only on the streets, but in the prison. And she was really heartened by gay people calling out for their rights in the ways that they were at that time. And she afterwards went and talked to lesbian and bisexual and trans men that were all in the women's facility with her and learned about gay rights and actually took what she learned back to where she was working in order to make her workplace a better ally towards queer rights. And that workplace was the Black Panthers. Now, you might suspect that this story is just a footnote in this woman's accomplishments, and that would be correct. You see, as a Black Panther, she was aggressively targeted by the FBI, and so she was in jail because of trumped up charges pressed against her that could have led to a sentence of over 300 years in prison. Afeni Shakur was unable to find a lawyer that would properly represent her, and so despite not being a lawyer herself, she had to study and represent herself during her trial. And she did all of that while she was also pregnant. And she won her case. And on top of that, she is Tupac's mom. So look at that smile. That is a proud mom right there. So Netflix, if you're listening, go find Regina King, give her all the money that you have to direct this movie, and we will all be thankful for it. Speaking of being thankful, there's a lot to celebrate this Black History Month. We have Stacey Abrams being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. We have the Harriet Tubman 20 finally being forwarded by the US government after being stepped on for 4 years by the Trump administration. And speaking of administrative changes, Joe Biden this week signed executive orders that would eliminate for-profit federal prisons, effectively disincentivizing the school to prison pipeline that has harmed Black communities for so long. And in Canada, Our federal government declared the Proud Boys to be a terrorist organization. Now, I know those last two sound like pretty white things, but they are giving something that Black people have been asking for a long time: change to systems that have been historically oppressive towards Black people and consequences for violent white supremacy. Speaking of consequences, this week, Marjorie Taylor Greene faced them. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the congresswoman in the United States who represents the riding of crazy QAnon conspiracies. And this week, she was taken away off of the committees that she was on, including education, effectively reducing her power. Imagine a white woman having power taken away from her because of the words and actions that she made and spoke. You might know her as the person who believes that Jewish space lasers caused the California forest fires over the past couple of years. I mean, that thought is so crazy. I don't even know what Jewish space lasers would look like. I mean, okay, they might look like that. You know, for the past 20 years, we've been living in a world where our reality has been predicted by The Simpsons. But now that we're living in a world that reality is being predicted by Mel Brooks, I think we've gone too far. You know, this week, Donald Trump will be going to the Senate to face his impeachment trial. And Democrats are feigning surprise that Republican senators and Congress people are lining up to defend this ex-president who literally tried to have them all killed, acting as if this is some new standard for the GOP. But it isn't. I mean, Dick Cheney literally shot someone in the face and then had that person apologize for getting in the way of the bullet. GOP members are authoritarian-leaning, masochistic sycophants. This is just who they are, and they've shown it to us time and time again. And as much as I'm someone who believes that de-radicalization is important work, I don't think that we all can be waiting on the Republicans to change. In fact, I think if we want the right wing in our culture to change, the best thing that we can do is keep moving forward, and maybe they'll start to change when they have to run to catch up to the rest of us. Now, speaking of the rest of us, we have a wonderful show this afternoon for you. Tymisha Harris is joining us from Orlando, Florida. We have Yaw Attuah joining us from Toronto, Ontario. And from Montreal, here is my co-host, Kristin Mueller-Heaslip. Hi, Kristin.
Hello. Hi, Adam.
How are you doing this week?
I'm okay. That was a heck of a PowerPoint that we just clicked through.
I mean,
thanks for making me work today.
I mean, well, what have you been doing during the week? I heard that you had some stuff going on with home life and COVID in Quebec.
Yeah, so my kid's school, there's an outbreak and the whole school has been shut down. I know schools are just shut down, period, in some places, but they weren't until, well, they still aren't, but this one is. So that's been not fun at all, but we're all fine. It's all good. It's just, you know, just not easy to get stuff done, as you can see by my inability to speak at the moment.
Well, I heard that you did have an achievement unlocked at the end of the week, though.
Did I? I've forgotten what it was. Can you remind me?
Didn't you have to call the dépanneur?
Oh, yes, I did. I had to call the dépanneur and order beer in French because we were all the results of our COVID tests, and I called and I received beer in return. So I have obviously mastered the French language.
Fantastic. That is the final test for a true Quebecer. If you can order beer to be delivered
and receive beer. Yeah.
It's like Moulin Rouge, but instead of to give love and receive love in return, it's to order beer and receive beer.
Give money in return, which is fine.
And give money in return,
Support your local business. Yeah.
So do you want to predict the future with me right now?
Sure. Adam and Kristin, predict the future. I keep meaning to write a theme song for this. I haven't done it this week. Maybe next time.
You do have kids at home from COVID school, so that's enough.
I'll get them to write it. There we go.
I mean, right now, my only big prediction for the future, I can't imagine how the Senate trial is going to function. I think that's going to be a shit show. I'm still thinking about how we're coming out of COVID. The Globe and Mail did an article about how it's going to be a slow coming out of COVID. And that kind of freaks me out a little bit because I think that means that the bosses and the employers who have taken the most risks with their employees are going to be the ones that get rewarded the most because they will be the fastest ones to reopen as we come out. But that stuff's all depressing. I mean, the big thing, I had a prediction last night while smoking with my husband that in the future, insurance commercials won't be soft and kindly. It'll just be like military grandfathers yelling at you for being irresponsible. Hey, you, stop sitting on the couch. Buy some insurance. Your family depends on you. What's wrong with you? You're lazy. Military grandfathers yelling at you to get insurance.
That's an effective marketing tactic, I'm sure. Let me see. Let me predict the future. Well, you know, it was Groundhog Day recently. So I actually can't recall what any of the results were because 6 more weeks of winter is about what you'd expect anyway. So like, whatever. I predict that it will snow some more and be cold, and then it will be eventually warmer.
That is a great prediction. I sadly predict that we're not going to have any more Christopher Plummer.
Unfortunately, Christopher Plummer passed away, age 91 by all. Very sad. I'm sure you were all very familiar with the distinguished career of this great Canadian actor. You might have seen him in was it Star Trek 6 that he was in? I forget which Star Trek movie he plays a Klingon.
Yeah, he was the Klingon. He was the Shakespeare.
Fantastic. Yeah, he's fantastic. Just anything best thing in it. So pour one out for a king, for a true king. I don't have a drink with me, but you do. So pour it on the ground.
Well, I mean, I'm not drinking that Eddie. It really.
Oh no.
I'm now sticking with the water because a glass filled with lime concentrate is not as delicious as it's.
No, okay, it will not cure COVID, but if you had scurvy, it would be great.
Well, I mean, sea shanties are back in, so where sea shanties go, scurvy follows. So that is another good prediction. I do also predict that we need to get to some of our interviews today. So why don't we bring to our screen the great Tamesha Harris. If you don't know who this person is, she is the star of the touring hit Josephine. Tamesha, how are you?
Was I too early? Was I on time?
You are on time.
Nice.
Whenever you arrive, you are on time, Tamesha. You are notably fantastic. So
I'm so happy to be here. Actually, this is great. Well, be with you all.
I mean, I'm happy to have you. You're someone that I've wanted on the show since we've started. So I'm super duper excited. I was just saying that the audience might know you if they are followers of the Fringe circuit, that you tour this fantastic show, Josephine, where you do an interpretation of the life of Josephine Baker. And I know, because I pay attention to news all over the country for our entertainers, that you just got booked to be the Shakespeare in the Park replacement in Orlando, Florida, which I think is fantastic, because that means that people in Florida were like, okay, we can't do Shakespeare, the cast is too large. Who can fill that space? Who can compete with Hamlet and King Lear? And they came up with you. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I checked a few boxes for them. It's really an honor to have them ask me to do this show here in Orlando. And this is actually probably one of the first times that I'm doing it for so long.
Because we've all been stuck indoors.
Well, actually, before that, we did the show 2016. We figured it out, right? We went to San Diego and then we came back to Orlando. We did it in February. We tried to do it about 6 or 7 times at a place called The Venue, which was a Black venue then for the Orlando Fringe and whatnot. And I did it 7 times. It was absolute shit. It was terrible. I mean, I think the first show was kind of okay. And then I think the second show, they had the writer. So Todd Kimbrough, he's a friend of mine, but he hadn't seen the show perform before. So I was like, oh, damn. what do? What the hell? I blanked on almost everything. Like, dummy. And a lot of people saw this show. A lot of people saw it. I felt so bad. They put him, the writer, in the front row, and his really gun shy boy husband was my Pepito, but I didn't know he was completely gun shy and he couldn't do it. And so the writer, Todd, ended up coming in to do the Pepito part. It was so awkward. But after that, we did the show one time at the Plaza Live, was where we filmed it. And it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Lights, camera. We had a 12-piece band. It was gorgeous. And that's the only times that we have brought the show to Orlando. We were supposed to do it at the Fringe in our year of hell 2020, but
12-piece band. I didn't get to see the show with the 12-piece band. I saw it with just you. You didn't need a 12-piece band when I saw it.
Neither does Shakespeare.
Neither does Shakespeare. I mean, first of all, I relate to having those off performances. I remember I did a performance of Adam Bailey is on Fire, which is my story about coming to terms with my religious upbringing and the belief in hell and being queer and what that means for me. And the last day I did it in Winnipeg, there were already Edmonton reviewers there. And I went around to get some of the edible props that I have to use in the show. And it was a Winnipeg heat wave day. But because I'm from Toronto, heat wave means humid. And in Winnipeg, heat waves are dry. So I didn't realize I had sunstroke myself until I hit the air conditioning inside the theater on the stage. As I started doing I dubbed that show. The show's titled Adam Bailey is on Fire, and that was my Spanish language version of it. Señor Bailey es muy caliente. Like, I was not in my head. At one moment, I thought my hand went through my head. That was how delusional I was on stage. So enough about me. We're here to talk about you. So you're doing a story of Josephine Baker, and I mean, she's fabulous. So the answer to this might just be like, water is wet. She is fabulous. But what brought you to that story and to wanting to share it with a broader audience?
Goodness. Honestly, it came out of a need and a desire to have something that was unique and that I could showcase my talents. So it really came out of a necessity for that, because I just, there's so many roles out there. I can do musical theater, but I fit a lot of molds. So we needed something that I could be unique in. We were going to do Tina Turner. Tina already has movies. She's still alive. It was this. And Josephine Baker just has so much history that got lost. And it was the perfect opportunity to bring her back to life, to help people realize that it's only been a short time since these things were happening to our fellow citizens, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of her history, and I just really felt it needed to be told. Didn't know what we had till we put it out, but it took off. It took off, and I feel like people just needed to know about Josephine, and, you know, go on Google. I went on Google the other day. Oh my gosh. Looking at Josephine images, and I'm on every page that she's on.
Oh, wow. That is an accomplishment. I love when you find yourself up on Google like that. Now, I know because her story is so important in Black history, and it illustrates so much of what's happened in that history. Now, I saw the show in Edmonton to a primarily white audience. Like, it was the midnight show too, and surprisingly an older audience. Like, a bunch of seniors stayed up to watch you. And they were like, you were impacting them. It was amazing. But I obviously have not seen the show perform for a majority Black audience. I'm wondering what's different between those two experiences. Is there a big difference between performing it for the white people of Edmonton or a larger Black audience in Orlando or elsewhere?
There has only been one place that I had a primarily Black audience, and that was in Atlanta. That's it. And wow. I think that was maybe 2 shows. I think the Sunday was pretty full. The Sunday was a sea of African-American Black faces. Just, it was really lovely. And then the difference, I'm not quite sure how to answer that because it's so overwhelming to see. When I saw all those faces that look like mine, how much I want that more, it's kind of overwhelming, you know?
Well, I hope when you are performing it in Orlando, you get to have at least one performance that gives you that thrill. It sounds like something that was very special for you. I know that whoever you,
it's always special doing the show.
yeah, I was going to say, I know from having seen it that no matter who you're performing it for, they're getting a lot out of the show. Like, it is a show that as an audience member hits everything. You get to feel all the emotions. There's singing, there's dancing, there's joy, there's audience interaction. Well, probably not in the COVID version, but it does speak to a lot, and it connects. It's universal. It connects people through this very singular experience and making it very universal and making it very, very human. So
exactly.
Now we're going to have you back for the news, and we're also going to have you back to sing a song for us at the end of the show. Are you looking forward to doing the news with us in a couple minutes?
I am. If it's anything like the opening segment, I can't wait for the slideshow.
There's lots of slides. But between here and there, it's time for us to introduce ourselves to our next guest, Toronto comedian and storyteller, Yaw Attuah. Everyone, put your hands together for Yaw.
Hey, everybody. Hi, my name is Yaw. The name Yaw means I'm a boy born on a Thursday. That's it. Happenstance, a perfect way to name a child. It's not like the name Ashley, an English name that means of the ash tree, or the name Kyle, which is Latin for douchebag. Things have changed for me. Last year, I had a fiance, French word meaning small business owner. The business is love, and trust me, you're losing all your money. I do like the word fiance, though. I love the title fiance. It changes sentences. It gives gravitas in places that like completely changes meaning, right? I was out with some friends, and they asked me, "Oh, where's your girl?" I was like, "Oh, my fiance's at home planning the rest of our lives together." That's a beautiful sentence, isn't it? That makes sense. It's way better than my girlfriend is at home planning the rest of our lives together. That's a red flag. Ooh, no. Another one, my fiance is worried about me. Oh, she cares. She's invested. My girlfriend is worried about me. She should worry about herself. She ain't perfect. My fiance wants to have children in the future. Nice. Planning. You're taking the right steps. My girlfriend wants to have kids in the future. No. Get out. In fact, buy new condoms. Check everything. I did say I had a fiance. Now I have a wife. We got married. It was a wonderful occasion. I'm in a biracial relationship, so I married a white. Sorry, that's a weird way of putting that. What I should have said was, I took one of yours. Yes, we were in a long-term relationship, 8 years, and I don't know about you, but I love being in a long-term relationship. You get two things in a long-term relationship. You get to live your truth. You get to speak your truth. So for 8 years, I've been living my truth. We go to farmers markets. I thought that's some white people shit. No, that's some happy people shit. I love that place. Love it. And for 8 years, I get to speak my truth. I'll explain. Before we got married, we used to go for these celebratory dinners. What were we celebrating? She got her period. Nice. So we went out to a fancy place to have dinner. One of those fancy places where a waiter brings a candle and puts it on your table. I blew it out. That was funny for me. I made a wish. I wished for more of these moments. The waiter brought up another candle. I ate a fancy dinner, had a fancy dessert. I picked up the check. We went home. Slipped into something a little bit more comfortable. Don't get it twisted. It was Lululemon sweatpants. And then she dozed off right here. This is her safe place. Take a look, but not too long. She'll know. And as she was falling asleep, I would whisper in her ear, "You owe me $47. It's crazy. It's dinner. We have to split these things. We need money for the wedding." We have made some decisions together. Like, we do want to have kids. We're going to have kids. We're going to have some beautiful biracial children. They're going to have the best of both worlds, like my athletic prowess, my melanin, my booty. They're going to have her ability to say, let me speak to your manager. It's just going to be a perfect match. We want to have kids, which is great, but we also want to have kids for different reasons. And she wants to have kids for very altruistic reasons, right? She has stories and traditions that she wants to pass down to the next generation. And I just want backup at family dinners, right? Like when we go eat dinner at her family's place, I want other Black people there. Anyway, that has been my time. I'm Yaw, and it's been great talking to you, and I'll let you know more about my life in the future. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much for that, Yaw. That was fantastic.
Oh.
And I also enjoyed greatly when I got to say my fiance for the 5 years that I was engaged for.
Isn't it a great title?
Pardon?
Isn't it a great title?
It's a fantastic title. As a queer person, it was a bit different because when you age as a queer person, your passing nature goes up a little bit, I find. And so when I said fiance, when I was like, 30, and I was like, I have a fiance, people were like, oh, look at that happy gay man. He has a fiance. And then when I was like getting closer to 35, they're like, where is she? Where is she? And I was like, no. Do I have to explain this to you? What's going on? But it was great fun. Now when I say my husband, it makes everything very, very clear right away.
Crystal clear. Your husband is a wonderful person. So.
Isn't he? He's tall, he's handsome. You have experience being tall and handsome. You're part of that club.
Not as tall as he is, but I'm glad to be in the handsome category with him. Now,
you've been doing comedy in Toronto for how long?
4 years. It hasn't been all that long, so yeah.
Really? Oh, wow! Because you've made a splash. Like you're someone that people notice and know about, and you have some online stuff happening right now too. Correct?
I have a few things going on online. And because of like everything going on, and I greatly enjoy performing, but I just can't do it at the same level. I've been writing a lot more. I started this writing challenge, so I got a bunch of people to contribute a bunch of story titles. I said, give me a title of a TV show that has never existed, and I'm going to write the first the opening scene for that TV show. So that was a challenge I put up to myself. So I have a few of those written. It's been wonderful and it's been great, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, fantastic! It's important to challenge yourself during these unusual times that we are living in.
Yes, correct.
Is there anyone that you've been keeping your eye on that you've been enjoying that you'd like to promote while you're here?
Yeah, my good friend Claire Blackwood, she started a online late night show. I think it's wonderful.
She's on our next show. We already have her booked.
Blessing. That's amazing. Kristin and Nat started their YouTube channel and picked it up. I really enjoy what they're doing. Ashley Cooper is on Twitch, and she's playing so many video games. It is a wonderful to see what she does. I'm promoting her so much, and in real life, I've never paid her a compliment. So she might relish this when she sees it.
I fawn over her every time we bump into each other, and we've had her on the show too with her Later Daters show. She was bringing that one up for us. So that's fantastic. I'm so glad that you've been successful and your marriage is going well, and that you're going to be having backup at your family dinners at some point in the future.
I'm going to be having backup in the summer. The summer is then backup begins. So yes.
Oh, that's fantastic! Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It is wonderful. She's got my wife is quite petite, so the belly on her is like, it's adorable. I thought it so fascinating because she's not used to it. It is now bumped into something accidentally, which I find hilarious.
My aunt had quite a baby bump belly in Belleville, where people are handsier. It's a more conservative town, and so like pregnant women, people would go up and like put the hand on the belly and like ask in phase, like, is it a boy or a girl? Is it a boy or a girl? While she was trying to grocery shop. Eventually, she just started telling people it's a gut.
That's the one thing that like COVID and everything is bad, but the one thing is like no random strangers are touching her, and I think that's like she's like, oh, that's such a good thing. It's just close friends and family who ask permission first, and so.
Our public service announcement for the day: don't touch pregnant women that you don't know, that have not given you permission.
Please don't touch random women you don't know. Period.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's fantastic. It's so great to have you here, Yaw. Are you looking forward to doing the news with us?
Oh, am I? So much.
Get some punchlines in. Okay, well, let's bring back.
I love it.
Let's bring back our other guests so we can hang out together. Tymisha and Kristin, let's bring you back on the screen.
Hello. Congratulations on your impending parenthood, Yaw.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I would
we're
like
gonna
to
get
be
started.
Kyle from now on.
Kyle.
I'm making the most of my time now.
Now, for our audience who don't know what we're about to do something that we like to call.
Oh, am I supposed to bring up the slide now? Sure. This is a news segment.
This is a news segment. And the way this is going to work is Kristin and I are going to run through a number of news articles that we found over the past 2 weeks that we have found interesting. Kristin will put up the article and describe what has happened in the news to us. And then I will throw to Yaw or Tymisha to find out what your opinions are, but we will all be invited to dive in. Once the subject has been worn out, as Kristin gets to decide when she is bored of what we are speaking of, she will switch to the next news article. Are we all ready to go?
I'm pumped.
Ready.
So our first story today, GameStop. First GameStop stuff was happening. GameStop crashed. So what are our reactions to, and I don't know anything about finance. I'm stupid in that way. What do we all think about this stuff? And what do we got to say about it?
Yeah, you were about to have kids, and that middle story was about a kid who put money into GameStop last year and then suddenly has hundreds and hundreds of dollars. What is your opinions on the story?
Oh, that kid is way smarter, way more prepared for parenthood than I am right now. Way to invest forward.
Tymisha, this is happening in your country. What are you thinking?
I wish I played more video games. Good on you. That's America.
I mean, it all happened within a week. I was quite fascinated by how fast it happened. People celebrating that it was going on was kind of weird because this is the sort of thing that can cause the algorithms to go haywire and actually crash the market. But at the same time, billionaire tears seem like they would be tasty to drink. In reality, they're not.
Adam's undrinkable cocktail, billionaire tears.
Yeah. Billionaire tears, undrinkable cocktail. Millionaire tears, somewhat delicious. Who knew?
Billionaire tears. Do you like cilantro?
It's like a cilantro thing. It's like an acquired taste, or genetically you can handle it or not.
Moving on to our next story.
Oh.
A woman charged in U.S. Capitol riot can take trip to Mexico, federal judge says. So this woman, whose name is apparently Jenny Cudd, was one of the who stormed the Capitol in the U.S. and took pictures of it and broadcast herself on the internet in the middle of doing it, which is how you do political action. Anyway, she is under legal stuff and apparently has a planned work trip to Mexico, which why people are traveling now, I don't know. And has been officially granted permission to leave the country in spite of her being, indicted and stuff. Thoughts?
I think the judge thinks the wall is built.
Yeah, don't come back.
I think the judge thinks the wall is built.
Hypocrisy at this moment is huge, and I don't know. I can't even. I have so much emotion behind it. It's hard for me to be fun. Like,
It's okay to let that out. Let it out.
Let it out.
That's why we're here.
Let it out. It is completely fine. Listen, I'm hoping that stuff happens during her vacation. Maybe he's hoping that she gets robbed. I don't know.
What's that? Cholera? They get, what do you get? Dysentery?
Montezuma's Revenge, they call
Montezuma's
it.
Revenge!
Yeah.
Yes. He does
Girl,
seem like
order
the
the
person-
enchiladas with extra ice. Do it. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Like,
she's
maybe
the person
judge
who
is
would not
thinking,
take the-
deal with, what part of Mexico are you going to? Is it Acapulco? No. Is it Cancun? No. Is it Mexico City? No. Is one of the bad parts? Yeah, maybe that's kind of a punishment in itself.
Let me go to Honduras.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of good parts to Mexico, but if you don't take the Dukerol first and get yourself prepared for it, you're not going to have a good time. So hopefully she is ignorant of international travel enough to not take the Dukerol. I've been to smaller places in Mexico, and it's actually, I prefer them to not Cancun and not those other places. Mexico's fabulous.
I love Mexico. The last time I went, I did not go to Cancun. I went outside of Cancun, and it was wonderful. So much.
Tourists fuck everything up. Can I say fuck?
Yeah, please. As much as you want.
You say yes, please. Please say.
Yeah. Please.
Yes, we're Canadians, but we swear. Yes, please, say fuck.
I want to know if her trip was planned. How far in advance her business trip was planned? You know what I mean?
I don't read these articles in great detail, but I believe it was some kind of like work team building event for some business she runs. So it was planned, and she's theoretically not leaving.
Listen,
yeah.
She came up to the judge and pleaded her case. She said, "Hey, the best drugs are south of the border." And the judge was like, "Yeah, you're right.
You're right."
So that's why they was granted.
Slipped his order, and they were like deuces.
Yes.
Well, moving on, we have a little bit of Schadenfreude to enjoy today, which is that Mike Pence has turned into a millennial. Mike Pence is homeless and bouncing between couches of Indiana politicians. Mike Pence is starting a podcast. I should, by comedy law, have a third story to put here, but Mike Pence's podcast only came up yesterday, so I haven't got a third one. So how do you feel now that Mike Pence is reliving the life that so much of us live of housing insecurity and self-directed artistic projects?
He's gonna fuck it up for everybody. Can't I have anything for myself? God damn.
Listen, the first story was Mike Pence is homeless. The second one was Mike Pence starts the podcast.
Yeah, he's got to make money somehow.
The third one really is Mike Pence is doing 4 open mics tonight. Mike Pence living the Toronto stand-up comedy life? Maybe. He just won't.
I wonder what his take on avocado toast is.
Yeah.
What a tool.
Oh,
Mike Pence blast PC culture in a 5-minute set.
He didn't plan for being removed, like for leaving office, and didn't buy a house, and then was he expecting for the insurrectionists to get him? He's like, well, might as well not waste that money. Like, what was going?
No, it's actually a bit sad. Apparently, he's been broke for years. I don't know what he does with all his money. I don't know how you can get paid like a couple $100,000 a year salary with no living expenses and still not have any money at the end of it. But apparently he's broke. Yeah, he was broke before. I don't know why. But yeah, so it is actually kind of sad because you're like,
that's how much
he's living that MC Hammer life, isn't he?
Yeah,
right? Pick up the hammer. Hello. Oh. Pick up it. Ow. 3, 5, 7, and the fly.
But here's a little peek behind the curtain. Me and Adam have a thread that we share stories on when we're picking them for this. And I sent him that one. He's like, you got to check this out. I don't want to share fake news. And like, I did have to go back and check that this was a real story and not something someone made up. And yeah, it's totally a real story. So poor Mike Pence.
At least he has mother with him.
He does. And you know what? I'm sure like he can get a minimum wage and do just as well as all of the people in his state who he screwed out of welfare. So,
So Mike Pence is now living like the people he served in Indiana.
So well. Yeah, so that's right.
Touche.
All right. In more political news, the man third in line if presidential in 5 Batman movies. I believe this is Senator Patrick Leahy, who I cannot recall the story in great detail, but the story is largely that he has an acting career and has been in some Batman movies. So
he's
that's
been in
nice, I guess. He's been in 5 Batman movies.
If you've seen Gotham at its worst, then you can handle the U.S. at its now.
At its Trumpiest.
So it's Kamala, it's Nancy Pelosi, and then it's some random senator who was in a bunch of Batman movies.
Yeah, I don't know his character movies because I haven't seen them in a long time, but yeah, so it's nice to know your, country has got things covered. Does that make you feel better, Tamesha? Like,
I'm gonna start drinking this tequila now.
Don't add too much lime to it.
Yeah, just a bit. So here's a story.
Billionaire's tears.
Adam, I know you're a devoted cat dad. I'm not sure about Yaw and Tamesha if you're cat people. Here in Chile, a 15-person COVID cluster formed around a cat's birthday party. I am a dog person, but all of the cats I have known would probably really not enjoy having strangers come over and pay attention to them. So, A, would you have a birthday party for your cat? And B, would you do it now?
No, and no, and no, and absolutely not.
I heard
Cat.
I heard cats will eat your face if you die after 3 days, and this cat seems like he was just speeding up the process.
It's not personal, they get hungry, but yeah, I mean, Adam, you have friendly cats. Would they like to have a birthday party?
Even having friendly cats that sometimes come out when there are parties, when there's too many people over, they still go and sleep on the bed they like all the coats that people throw on the bed in the bedroom. That's their party. If we have like a couple girlfriends over, our girl cat knows that she is the only female in the house. And so when women come over, she's aware that she's like, they're like me. And she will come and sit right beside them on the couch and be like, we're sisters.
Meow, meow.
But that's a more intimate thing. It's the cat being exposed to representation for like the minuscule moments in its life. It's like
that cat sits down beside your friends and is like, man, am I right? And
Am I right? Am I right, ladies? Well, I want to make sure, just so everyone knows, it did not contract COVID because cats can catch COVID apparently. But this cat was fine. Just the people caught COVID.
I had a question. What's a COVID cluster?
Like 15 people caught COVID, like it was a cluster of cases.
And they made a party about it with a cat?
Yeah, they all caught it at a cat's birthday party.
They went to the cat's birthday party and caught COVID at the cat's birthday party, which is something you shouldn't do for a cat in the first place.
Oh, no wonder. Oh, see, I was already on the no. I thought there was,
no. Please sing up some more no-no-nos.
Hell no. Hell, no. I'm allergic.
Tamesha, I'm clipping that for our next ad video. That hell no, just so you know.
Meow.
No. Thanks.
Since we're on international news, can we bring out our new segment, replacing news from Finland?
Yes, absolutely. It is time for news from France. So far, this is our second news from France. They all seem to be sex stories. Orgy involving at least 81 people raided by police in France for breaking COVID rules. So this is a party/orgy broken up on the outskirts of Paris involving 81 people, which I have to say is a really fantastic house. Well done, organizers. I would be really happy to get 81 people out to just about anything. But again, perhaps bad timing.
To hell with your cat clusters.
Hey, Chili, I take your cat cluster and I raise it one.
And I raise you an orgy.
Still invite the cat to that one.
All I imagine when I hear at least 81 people is there are a few cops coming out going, yeah, I was here first to arrest people.
I mean, France might be one of the countries in the world where it's okay to have a police officer fetish. So like maybe it would be confusing for them coming in, like, oh, Mr. Officer, what are you here for? Oh, you're gonna put handcuffs on me? Oh wait, you're actually putting handcuffs on me? Oh, that's not what I was expecting. Can I still get spanked?
This doesn't feel right. Oh, right. That's all I could. 81 people.
I know. How would you even organize that? Like, did they have to draw names?
It's
like,
not a Zoom room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can see why they like clustered. Like, you can only put so many people in the Zoom room before things slow down. And they wanted to speed things up, so.
If you
Can
combine
you have a Zoom orgy?
the orgy party and the cat birthday party, then you end up with a furry party, and that's a safe way to have an orgy because you're all wearing masks.
It's a safe way to have an orgy, but it is a dangerous way to be a person.
I have to say, remember there were all those stories about different public health different public health authorities releasing like safe sex in times of COVID, really safe sex guidelines. Remember those? And I have to say, furries didn't appear in them. I mean, masks and glory holes, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes, the New York City promoted glory holes during early COVID.
So who knows? Maybe they had some really great social distancing protocols in place, but unfortunately still against the law. In more sex news.
81.
This is the one I warned you guys about before. Case study, tattoo leaves man semi-erect for life. I'm really sorry, guys. I just had to include this story. This was a man who made the very unwise decision of getting a tattoo on his penis. It went wrong, and in spite of some attempts at corrective surgery, he is a possibly permanent medium erection for the rest of time. I don't quite know what to say about that. I just mostly wanted to share it on air.
Couple of things. One, the tattoo probably said sorry. You know, and now he'll never apologize again.
No.
Whoa, bro.
Two, he brings new phrase, I woke up like this. It was great.
Wouldn't it hurt? Like, wouldn't it be like uncomfortable? And how do you just go around like that all the time?
Oh my God.
I mean, you need firm pants, but you can't have too harsh of a zipper situation going on there. At the same time, sweatpants are completely out, right? Like you've got logistics you got to deal with now.
He feels a little bit objectified. He's like, hey, my eyes are up here. I'm a person.
Really, Yaw? That's what he says?
No.
That's what he says?
No.
This is a straight man we're talking about. Are his eyes up here?
I believe. In fact, I believe he got the tattoo in honor of his girlfriend.
He did get a tattoo in honor of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Fun fact, not only have I read this story, I know the writer of that article.
You do? Wow. Do you know the man with the tattoo? Because we would love to have him on the show.
You didn't know the man with the tattoo, but he wrote that. I know the guy who wrote that article. As soon as I was like, is it his article? Sure enough.
Small world.
Yes,
wow.
He passed it on to me. So I was like, ooh, I do know it.
Small world. That's what his dick said.
His dick now says, is this good enough for you? And the answer is always no.
Question mark.
On that note, our next story.
That's what did it.
Montreal student tries to contact his online prof only to learn he's dead. Now, I know we've all had some non-responsive teachers. This student was taking a class, I believe, in Canadian art history at Concordia, which was by watching video lectures, and there was a TA involved. And he did with minimal research, he discovered that the gentleman who was doing the lectures had in fact passed away like 3 years ago. And the story is that the TA didn't know that he was dead. He was grading the papers and doing all the legwork of the course without knowing that the guy who was listed as the instructor was not alive. So is this the future of higher education? Are we all going to be taught by zombies?
I think most students were pissed that their tuition was still going up while wages were non-existent.
Talk about crony capitalism. Your boss just does vampire. They're dead. Oh.
Oh, Nike.
Tamesha, what was your worst boss?
My worst boss just did cocaine and hit on the girls. Like
That would be an improvement. Yeah.
He was alive.
I imagine people in
That audience
Concordia watched Weekend and Birdies and were like, we can take that up to the next level.
There you go.
What
Weekend
if-
at Bernie's your prof.
Do they get their money back? What's the grade? Is everybody getting an automatic A? Because in like, your students die, your fellow student dies, you get an A and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Tuition is very reasonable in Quebec, so I don't think that they're going to be giving any refunds. But
reasonable.
The one place in North America where tuition is reasonable is Quebec.
if you live here, it's like it's one course wouldn't be a lot of money. But no, history does not relate. I don't know if the students are seeking a refund or something like. I would think, yeah.
So I don't even care. I started to go, and then I think I made a 32 in one of my classes, and I was like, oh, there we go. So I went to School of Life, and I learned that way.
Now look at you. Success.
Living it up like Mike Pence.
Hey, it looks like you have a better place than Mike Pence.
Yeah.
I have better weed.
And we always love to end the show with a positive story. And Adam mentions in the intro, but Black Lives Matter movement nominated for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize.
Woo!
Woohoo!
That's actually not what I mentioned in the intro. I was, but I saw that you're putting it there. I mentioned that Stacey Abrams is separately nominated for a different Nobel Peace Prize. So,
Props.
Yeah. There's no jokes with it. It's so important.
Yeah.
It is made, brought so much awareness to so many undersea things and made people a little bit more motivated and encouraged to speak up about like personal stories. It's been great. So even if you haven't been to a march, there's been so many stories that I personally have heard and have seen online that people are now not afraid to speak up about. So it's a good Nobel Peace Prize for sure.
Mm-hmm.
May I say how great a job you all did with your opening today. I thought it was really nice. I mean, Afeni Shakur and you went all over the place, Adam. So I really appreciated that. I can't give you a Nobel Prize or anything, but I'll give you 2 thumbs up from this girl. Okay.
Aw, thank you, Tamesha. I'm a big history person, and I appreciate the humanity of the people around me. And when I learned Afena's story, I was like, this is an amazing story. And I learned about it, learning about pride, and everything intersects. Like Black Lives Matter is a movement that was started by lesbian women. And I think that's an important thing to talk about too, because there's a huge intersection, especially as a Torontonian. They came to prominence in this city when the Pride March got stopped because they were invited to be the Grand Marshals of Pride. And very much like during the AIDS protests, when they were like die-ins to stop the parade, Black Lives Matter sat at the intersection of College Street in Toronto, which was not coincidental because months earlier they had been camping out in front of the police station, which is on College Street, and were roundly ignored by most of the media and by the city's mayor, John Tory. And then when they stopped the city's biggest moneymaker on the same street, it was like, what's happening here? And I think that's really, if Afeni Shakur can see the first gay riot happen and then go back to the Black Panthers and say, this is interrelated and we need to do this, then I think, I don't know, as a queer white person, I can do the same thing and go, this is interrelated. This is all connected to each other. And we need to step in here and take part in all of this together.
Yeah, be able to see it and recognize it and take advantage of it, because if they've started to lay some of the groundwork down, we have to follow in their footsteps. and help elevate the rest of the people that are coming behind us, you know? So anyway.
Well, to quote the Jackson 5, you better make way for the young folks. So that has been our show for the week. Thank you so much for coming out, everyone. This has been a delightful show. Just in case anyone wants to find you online, Yaw, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Yaw Experience. That is YAW Experience. And then you can go to my website when I will post my challenge scripts at yowexperience.com.
Fantastic. And Tamesha, where can people find you other than taking over the world of Shakespeare?
I am at Josephine the Play on all Facebooks, IGs, and all that. JosephineThePlay.com as well. And my Instagram is Random Times with Tush.
Nice. And of course, we have a way for you to buy us a coffee here at the show. So if you would like to give us any money, you can always buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/thisisAtalk-show. That's where we're taking donations for this show, which we will always make free for you. And on top of that, we also, do you have a slide for your album coming out, Kristin?
Yeah, I do. Let me just find it. I got two things to promote. I have my album coming out February 21st. We have a virtual CD released, so you can find that on Facebook. I'll post a link to it from our Facebook group. And it's available for pre-sale on Bandcamp now. And I also want to plug a podcast I'm involved in called The Middle-Aged Candy Store, which you can find pretty much wherever podcasts are available. It's a fun, surreal comedy podcast.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Kristin. And we always like to be sung out of the show. Normally Kristin does that, but Tamesha, because you are such a wonderful talent, would you like to sing us out of the show today?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I would love to.
Thank you so much.
Let me get this out the way. This is great. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all been great. Here we go. Little Valentine's for you. Little sweetness mixed with a little bit of sass. While tearing off the game of golf, I may make a play for the caddy. But when I do, I don't follow through, 'cause my heart belongs to daddy. If I invite a boy some night to dine on some fine fin and hattie, it's great, trust me. I just adore his asking for more, 'cause my heart belongs to daddy. Yes, my heart belongs to daddy. I simply couldn't be bad. Oh, my heart belongs to daddy. Dad, 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 dad. I want to warn you, laddie, I think you're perfectly swell, but my heart belongs to daddy, 'cause my daddy, he treats me so well. Yes, oh, my heart belongs to daddy. I simply couldn't be bad. Oh, my heart belongs to daddy. Dad, 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 dad. I want to warn you, laddie, I think you're perfectly swell, but my heart belongs to daddy, 'cause he treats me so nice. I tell you, he treats me so nice. 'Cause my heart belongs to daddy. Buy us coffee.